Hello, college students. My name is Landry Ethredge of Ethredge Counseling Group here in Charleston, South Carolina, and today I'm talking about boundaries. What in the world are they, and how in the world do you put them into place? I think there's a lot of myths around boundaries. I see boundaries often being used to attempt to control other people, and it never really works very well like that. It tends to backfire. Boundaries are actually have a lot to do with us, what we are going to do. And so it's looking at what you can control and what you can't control. We can't control other people. We can't control what they say or what they do. What we can control is what we do and what we say, what situations we put ourselves in, and which situations we step away from. So boundaries are really more about, if this happens, this is what I will do. Boundaries, again, another myth is, I think that boundaries are mean, or are scary. I myself was in college the first time I heard about boundaries, and to me it sounded mean and like not what nice people would do. And it took me a little while to wrap my head around what boundaries are and how they're good and how they're actually helpful in building healthier, better, deeper, more satisfying connections. I tell clients a story. It's actually sort of doesn't put me in the best light, but I like it because of that. I think back to a friend, a good friend of mine who's still one of my very best friends. Years ago, she confronted me and she let me know a boundary that she had and asked me to respect. And it was really difficult at the time. I don't know that I took it super well in the moment in the conversation, but upon reflecting, I've always been very moved as I've thought back to that conversation. It took a lot of courage for her to tell me how this boundary was not being respected. It really showed me that she really cared about our relationship enough to be that vulnerable and that brave to bring up this difficult conversation. And after a little bit of reflecting, really just the next day, I realized how lucky I was to have a friend like her who cared about our relationship dynamics enough to bring this issue. And it was something I was very happy to adjust to because I care about her. And so I think that's an important story to remember when you are contemplating how you're going to set boundaries, that boundaries are actually an opportunity to love each other in a deeper, more fulfilling, safer, healthier way. Boundaries are there so that you can show up as the best version of yourself. And it's also a way of asking someone, hey, this is how I like to be loved, and this is how you can best support me. And I think when we frame our boundaries in that way, we have a much more likelihood of them being received well. Although sometimes our boundary requests are not received that well, and that can also give you some good information about maybe the trajectory of that relationship or how much you want to continue to invest in that relationship. Recently wrote a blog post on the website, LandryEthredge.com, that talks about, for college students, how to navigate boundaries with roommates, how to navigate boundaries with friends and family, and also how to navigate boundaries with professors, which I don't hear talked about very often, but is important and, can be maybe pretty scary. But, if there's these times where I feel like, okay, I'm really having too many assignments put on me, or, I really need to, I really would love to ask for an extension. There are boundaries are really about advocating for your well-being and for the well-being of the relationship. So head on over to LandryEthredge.com, check out that blog post about boundaries for college students. I think it could be really helpful. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could possibly do that, I'm a little bit too much of a people pleaser, or I'm just, scared of what somebody's reaction is going to be, please reach out, schedule a free consultation. We would be so happy to work with you in the counseling room and in the therapy relationship to kind of help you work through what's holding you back and how you can kind of move forward and begin to have healthy relationships, healthier boundaries, healthier relationships, and a happier life really at the end. So head on over to LandryEthredge.com. You can get started there.